Not yet, please. Not yet. Not yet.
No, there wasn't a personal experience other than I was already listening to music like most people, but a friend of mine had built a kit turntable and he showed that to me. And I think what interested me there was how that had an effect on how the music sounded and how a piece of music that I once thought I knew sounded not completely different, but you could hear things about the music that gave you a different sense of what the music was trying to portray. So I then started thinking more about the equipment and, you know, how that could influence how the music could sound. Well, obviously, I'm very grateful. I think that every brand has its own niche and how it portrays itself and how it plays the music. For me, we really aim for a neutral sound that is a reflection of what is on the record. If the recording is not good, it will sound not good. If it's excellent, then it will sound excellent, and in between. So, but obviously, I'm very appreciative of everyone else who likes what we do and invests in our products to make their lives enriched by listening to music. Um, well, everything, I think with our products, there's a core philosophy in terms of how we design our products, and that philosophy spreads across all the product that we do, you know, whether it be a turntable, a loudspeaker, or an amplifier. And once you have that philosophy, if you stick to that very rigidly, actually the design side of things becomes relatively easy. It's just the execution of that design that becomes more difficult, and particularly on less expensive products where you're constrained by the finances of producing that product. So, as a company, we have a philosophy of that there's good vibration and bad vibration. We want to be listening to the good vibration, and we have a specific way in which we remove bad vibration. And as I say, that we execute that across all the different products of our range. So I suppose in answering your question, the good thing for me was, if you like, finding that design philosophy and then sticking to it.
Not yet, please. Not yet. Not yet.
With it? Yeah, so I mean, our philosophy is basically to design paths of least resistance to remove vibration that's generally created at the source and remove that to a place where it's not harming the production of music at source. Um, so, in our latest products, which are loudspeakers, for instance, we use that technology to couple the driver to the front baffle in a way that it creates an impedance mismatch so the vibration doesn't enter the speaker cabinet and it is retained within the driver. But then we have a tuned mass damper at the rear of the driver, which absorbs that vibration. So by doing that, we have minimal vibration entering the cabinet and we don't suffer from cone breakup and issues like that that normally associate loudspeakers. So That's how we've done it in a loudspeaker. And in the turntables, for instance, we have a unique bearing which diverts the vibration within the record itself away from the playing surface. So the record itself becomes with a lower noise floor. So you get to hear more detail and information, even with an inexpensive cartridge like our Ingenium Plug and Play. And we make that route of the vibration so it then dissipates within the chassis. So this is the way we have our philosophy, and we execute it in different products. And in our electronics, we do the similar sort of thing, although we're dealing with electronics. So we have big ground planes, for instance, where we have and paths for earth and things like that to keep all the nasties that you don't want to hear in electronics away, routed somewhere else. Well, I think you need to ask yourself, what are we actually striving for, and what we're the majority of people who strive for listening to high quality music. Analog will always be the best that you can get, pure and simply because it is a pure sine wave. Digital takes that sine wave and chops it up into any number of factors, and with that you will lose information. With many, say, CD players, they have error correction where it actually makes up what you're listening to. It's not genuinely what is on the recording. So if you want to listen to music in its purest state, analog is where it's always going to be. But digital has its place. Digital really should have been the replacement for the cassette tape. It's portable, it's recordable, it's you can move it around and do things. So in that regard, digital replay is almost like the McDonald's of music. You know, it's fast, it's quick, you can just do whatever you want with it and what have you. Whereas listening to analog is very much like fine dining. It's a ritual. You can sit down, you listen to it properly, and you get the maximum enjoyment. The other thing I also notice with anyone who listens to digital is they generally just listen for a moment or two and then skip to the next track, skip to the next track. There's something about it that doesn't hold your attention, whereas with analog, there's a tendency to listen and you just keep listening and the whole thing just flows. So analog replay went away primarily because hardware manufacturers wanted to sell something new, and we've seen how that was replaced by CD, and now when that was exhausted, CD was replaced by archiving on hard drives, and now it's streaming, and I'm sure something else is going to come along because, you know, the streaming market is saturated, so, you know, the hardware guys are going to want to sell you something else. But, you know, the fundamental is that if you want quality, you know, analog is going to be that quality. Okay, so I think I'll do that in reverse. So the what's exciting about the brand's future is that we're doing a lot more now to let people know that we exist. I think we've been hidden away a little bit, but we're doing a lot more now in product reviews, social media, so that people can get to learn about our products more. And what's been exciting for us is that when people have now come to listen, they've been, wow, you know, where have you been hiding? And we're getting more and more interest in our products and more customers coming to our brand. In terms of new technologies and things, well, as far as I'm concerned, analog is the best that there is. So there's no point really exploring if there's some way different of creating something. But people often ask me, are we going to do anything in digital? And the answer is no. Why would we consider making a product that's inferior to what we're doing now? And apart from that, the problem with digital is that it's a constant moving target. Before you even bring out the product, it's out of date. You spend all your time on apps and various other things in development, which make it highly unprofitable as a company, which means we can't then invest in new machinery to perfect what we do now. So we're very much sticking with analog because we believe it's the best in terms of the format, and if anything, we will strive to enhance and make that better rather than look at any digital format.
Not yet released, not yet, not yet.
Well, obviously we do the whole chain now, so from all the way from the needle all the way to the ear with the loudspeaker. And years and years ago, everyone thought, well, the loudspeakers are the most important thing. So that obviously has changed over time, where people appreciate that the source is the most important thing. And if I'm giving advice to anybody, either within the audio arena or someone coming into it, is it's very much a hobby that will improve over time. So you need to have a plan. And I think if you invest in an overall system, then it's very difficult to choose what to upgrade in future. So you need to appreciate that you're going to upgrade and improve your system over time. So you need to put the money in where it's going to make the most difference over the longest period of time. And when you upgrade, you're not going to lose so much money on trade-ins and things like that. So nothing new, but you need to put the biggest investment in the turntable itself, then the arm, then the cartridge, then the electronics, and then the speakers in a sliding scale. And then as you improve, if you improve the front end, everything else is going to improve by virtue that you've increased the quality of the front. And then when you reach the quality that you can get maximum out of at the front, then you improve your electronics, and then the speakers are probably the last thing that you're going to improve. So I think you need to have a plan and maximize your journey in terms of the amount that you get back for the amount of expenditure that you're going to pay. Yes. I would say then that, as I've covered that mostly in another question, is that you need to use your ears. There's too much this day of branding, and there are, as well as ours, there's lots of excellent products out there which maybe aren't as marketed or don't have the cachet that some other brands do, which really don't fulfill what the customer expects. So I think people need to learn to buy with their ears and less with their eyes and less with what they read, perhaps. Because when they're at home, they don't have the press or their friends or anyone with them. It's just them. And to waste money on a product that is perceived perhaps in the press as an excellent product but doesn't deliver is, for someone new into the industry, is not a good start. They really need to just listen and buy the product that they feel brings the emotion of the music to them and makes them feel that they want to listen to the next piece of music and to the next piece of music.